Bon appetit, fellow culinarians and Epicureans. We are cutting things up today because we're starting a nice series called The Cutting Edge. And today it's all about a knife cut called Tomato Concassé. Concassé is French for to cut or grind. And in cooking, it's typically referred to as chopping or rough chopping a vegetable. Concassé is typically used with a tomato. It's when we take the skin off the tomato and take the seeds out, and we just use the meat of the tomato. Once the tomato is peeled and seeded, it can be cut to a specific dimension depending on what your chef wants. It could be a small dice, a medium dice, a large dice, or even just a rough chop. Probably one of the most popular uses for a tomato concassé cut is in the Italian bruschetta. And who doesn't like Italian bruschetta? It can also be used as an addition to béarnaise sauce, which turns it into a Chiron sauce, which can be used on a lobster dish, for example, among many other uses. So let's get going. First thing we want to do is get our mise en place together. And safety first, when you're getting the cutting board out, don't forget to put that wet towel underneath that cutting board to keep that cutting board from sliding. If you got a knife in your hand and you're cutting up some vegetables and that cutting board slides, you're going to be in trouble. In addition to the cutting board, you're going to need a bowl of ice water for cold shocking, and we're going to talk about cold shocking in just a few minutes. You're also going to need a slotted spoon, a French knife, and a paring knife. And let's not forget, we're going to need a pot, a saucepan full of simmering water ready to go. You only need a size that fits the job that you're doing because we're going to have it simmering ready to go, and when we're about ready to use it, we'll bring it up to a soft boil. All right, let's get started here. The first thing you want to do is rinse your tomato off in cold water to get any dirt that might be on your tomato, which I've already done here. The next thing I'm going to do is take the stem off the tomato. And then what I'm going to do is what I call decore it, or take the stem root out of it. And I'm going to use a paring knife to do that. And I'm going to use my thumb as a depth guide. We're only going to go in about a half to a 3/4 of an inch, and we're going to cut around that outside core to get that core out. Once I do that to my tomatoes, I'm going to cut the other end, and I'm going to cut a cross or a plus sign in the bottom. I'm just barely going to cut the skin. Now I'm going to make sure that the water is up to a soft boil. We don't want a hard rolling boil. It's too much. We don't want to cook the tomato. We just want to separate the skin from the meat of the tomato. And a soft simmer or a soft boil will do the trick. We're going to place our tomatoes in the soft boil, and we're going to leave them in there for 30 seconds. Once that 30 seconds is up, we're going to take them out with a slotted spoon, drain the water off, and gently put them into our ice water for cold shocking. This is going to stop the cooking process. We don't want our tomatoes cooked just yet. We need them for a later application. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to peel the skin off the tomatoes. And I'm going to use a paring knife to do this. And you're going to find that that skin is just going to fall right off the tomato. Once I get the skin off my tomatoes, I'm going to cut the tomato in half, not lengthwise, kind of crosswise, not from stem to stem, the other way. It'll be much easier to take the seeds out. I'm going to use the combination of my paring knife and my fingers to take those seeds out. Once I've gotten all my seeds out of my tomato, then I'm going to cut the tomato halves in strips. That way I can turn it into the size dice I want, whether it be a small dice, a medium dice, or a large dice. And voila, there we have it. Tomato concassé, ready for our next application. Maybe some bruschetta.